Well, 6 days on and the search for the missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 with 239 people on board still continues. In fact, Times Now's Kashif Khusro gets you an exclusive report on the ongoing search operations for the missing plane. He is reporting from the search aircraft flying over the Andaman Sea.
Today is the 6th day of the search operation for MH370, and now we are over the Andaman Sea looking at the Zone E where this huge Hercules C3 aircraft has been deployed to look into. In fact, let me explain to you, we are flying at about 1500 feet and only by looking, there are two observers in the aircraft which are looking over the sea, trying to find out if they can find any oil slicks, any pieces of the aircraft or any signs that there were any aircraft across this 180-kilometer stretch which we are going to cover today. What we also understand from the Malaysian Air Force is that the entire operation has now been divided into about 6 zones, and it has been spread into east and west of Malaysia, and the Air Force and the navies of at least 12 countries have now participated in this operation, but still no sign. Today we are reaching up to the Andaman Sea, which again is a new area, and now what the Malaysian Air Force feels that there could be some information that the aircraft could have turned back and come towards the Andaman Sea. So at this moment, the search and rescue is still going on, but clearly no answers, no answers whatsoever as to where MS-370 could be. At about 1500 flight level here in a Malaysian Air Force Hercules, Times Now is the only channel on the task force which is looking out for the flight Malaysian Airlines 370. I have with me Sergeant Zulail, who is the one who's observing the entire Andaman Sea, scouring for any sites of the Malaysian Airlines flight. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the structure of the aircraft MS-370.
What kind of indicators are you looking for?
What the kind of the we are looking for the spot of the oil, the body of the aircraft, or the survivor itself.
But how many days have you been looking at it?
We are started from in our operational start from if I'm not mistaken 8 March 2014.
What do you feel about this search and rescue? Do you think you will be successful?
I hopefully that our effort can be good indicator to search and to identify either aircraft is the crash or we can survive the survival as soon as possible.
Do you hope to find the aircraft?
I also hope to find the aircraft to survive our citizen and our citizen of the other countries.
That was Sergeant Zulail extremely confident that he would find the aircraft and hoping that he would find and all the passengers alive. On board the Hercules of the Malaysian aircraft with Sanjay Ranjit, Kashif Khusro for Times Now.
Kashif Khusro is now joining me live from Kuala Lumpur. Kashif, as we saw in your report there, really, the puzzle over the disappearance of that flight is becoming even more complex. Now, reports are even suggesting that the plane may have flown close to 4 hours after it disappeared. And of course, we've had China talk about the fact that those the debris that they thought was originally off the plane is not off the plane.
Well, Nupur, considering the time difference is about 6.5 days of search and rescue here in Malaysia, but clearly more than unraveling the mystery of MH370, it continues to get more and more complicated. In fact, in today's search and rescue operation when we went, it was a new area which was defined by the Malaysian Air Force. What they are now looking at, let me just show you in a little bit of sense where exactly from here in Kuala Lumpur, the entire search area was earlier focused on the east, here in the Gulf of Thailand and into Vietnam. But now they're looking into the Straits of Malacca and the Andaman Sea. So this has now become the focus area. Earlier there were only 4 zones which were concentrated on the east. Now there are 2 search and rescue operations, one which is happening in the east of Malaysia, one in the west of Malaysia, that's Andaman Sea, and here down below in the Straits of Malacca. So this is how the search is divided, with ships and aircraft on both the sides, and both of them deployed to look for this missing aircraft. Now as far as the 2 new inputs which were received today, one from the Chinese which said that there were some debris along the west coast near the Straits of Malacca. What we understand is that the Malaysians then scrambled some aircraft to that spot pinpointed by the Chinese, but turned out that it was not debris, it was something else. It was not the aircraft debris rather. The second very important input that the reports came out from sources in some media over here, that the engines in this particular Boeing 777 were from Rolls-Royce, and Rolls-Royce sources had indicated that the aircraft had flown for nearly 4 hours after it went untraceable. Now that exactly is a question which the press conference which is going to be held behind me in about an hour's time will tell us. The investigators will be there along with the Malaysian Air Force as well as the Director General of Civil Aviation. We understand that the engines were running till about 4 hours after it took off, and what is important to note is that the aircraft went off the radars barely 1 hour after takeoff. So the rest of the 4 hours are unaccounted for. And yesterday in his press conference, the Air Force Chief of Malaysia said that yes, they are considering the options that this aircraft veered off the coast and went towards the west, and that precisely is the question. If it veered off the coast, went towards the west, flew for about 4 hours, where did the aircraft go? So now all the possibilities taking into account, they are looking into the Straits of Malacca and the Andaman Sea.